How ladies and gents, and this is Why You Are Lonely and How to Make Friends by the channel Kurzgesagt in a nutshell. Yeah, I guess this is one of those philosophical type of topic that he usually tackles. Yeah, but this is gonna be interesting to see like what way is he, what science is he gonna use in this one? Because subjects like this is sometimes hit and miss. All the surveys and studies there's no guarantee it will work with everybody, right? Because personal issues, why you can't make friends and things like that usually carries over from your childhood. Basically the day you start to understand things slowly, from there all the experience that you gather, right, all the leaps that you take or don't take usually molds how you think things, and if you're insecure or not, if you leap forward to make friends or not, or maybe you're afraid or whatever, right? So everybody's different for that reason, because 18 years, right, you grow up all the way to 18 years, that's a long time. Lots of different type of combination could mold you for what you are, and so anything could make you insecure. There's a reason why people go to psychiatrists, right, shrinks, whatever they call, right, and they spend session after sessions for a long time before any progression can be made. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Let's watch it.
Friends make life good. They provide the scaffolding that makes it not just bearable, but fun. They give us a sense of meaning and purpose, and are a source of security, self-esteem, and happiness. Almost nothing predicts how happy you will be as how connected you feel, and a lack of social connection is associated with a number of diseases and a shorter life. But maybe you have scrolled through your phone unsure who to call to go to a movie with, to celebrate with, or ask for comfort. You may realize that you don't have enough friends and feel lonely. And it's not just you. Disconnectedness and loneliness are widespread. Many people want more close friends but don't know how to get them. Surprisingly, nowadays, loneliness is highest among young people, whose relationships were also hit especially hard by the global pandemic. Social distancing stopped teens and young adults from mingling.
Come on, let's be honest, it's mostly got hit by something like Facebook. Social media came along and I guess people just didn't give a shit about socializing, right? I mean, physically. Everybody just like, oh, look at that, isn't this great? I'm gonna chat on internet, and that's better than going to, I guess, a cafe or something. Yeah, so that kind of killed at least half of it, right? Then yeah, obviously the lockdowns caused issues, but yeah, nowadays the more advancement of the society happens, right, the more and more cities gets bigger, the more and more pressure increases with jobs and life, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of understandable how the life gets in the way, and there is no much social interaction, and depression rises because of it. But yeah, I guess social media kind of played a big part in that one.
In classrooms, clubs, or dorms, millions of friendships, maybe lifelong friendships, that might have blossomed will never exist, with profound long-term consequences for our collective happiness. The good news is that it's not too late, and there are lots of friends to be found. We'll mix scientific information with actionable advice in this video, but we can't address every individual situation. People, cultures, and schedules are different. If you suffer from chronic loneliness, you can also watch the video we made about it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. As with all important things in life, making friends is infuriatingly simple, but not necessarily easy. But it works through a few pretty straightforward mechanisms. The most important thing about making friends. People make friends with other people when they spend casual time together. This is how our ancestors formed their relationships, because humans lived in small, close-knit communities in which options for making friends were limited, so we just formed good relationships with the people who were around us. This is why it's so easy to form new friendships in school and university. Society locks you and your peers in a building for several years. You share similar activities, but more importantly, similar schedules. Overlapping and fluctuating social circles form, naturally giving you regular FaceTime and shared experiences with many different people. Time to find others with similar worldviews or senses of humor. Proximity can be more important than similar interests. One study found that in student dormitories, the distance between rooms was the strongest friendship predictor. Living closer together meant a higher...
It kind of makes sense, regardless of how similar your views are, and what you like, don't like. Proximity is the main thing because nobody want to spend a second more than they have to at anything. So I guess things that you do kind of align with the person that you're doing with. I guess you'll be spending more time than you would have done otherwise. Kind of makes sense.
Chance of becoming friends. Another study showed that being physically present in a class a lot without saying a word makes others more sympathetic to you. So the most important principle of making friends is to regularly spend time with people in the real world. This alone can make it happen automatically and trumps all other advice. But don't forget that making friends is not a numbers game or a competition. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has a social calibrator that can change as you go through life. Maybe you were more introverted as a teen, but yearn for connection in your 20s. Maybe you were part of sprawling social circles, but prefer fewer friends in your 30s. There is no right or wrong, only right for you. Why we don't have enough friends. The main reason for a lack of friendships is the simple fact that most people don't prioritize friendships nearly enough. They don't realize until it's too late that retaining friendships demands regular energy and attention. Although they are so important for happiness, friends often take a back seat to other life decisions. Work, commuting, romance, or kids take up so much time and energy that it's so much easier to crash on your couch and lose yourself in mindless activities. Especially as an adult, going for a bike ride, getting dinner, or visiting a hobby store takes much more mental effort and commitment than it did after school when time ran slower and energy and curiosity were abundant. But it's not just adults who are too busy for friends. The average American teenager spends more time on TikTok every day than socializing at parties, events, or on the phone with friends combined.
Now it's TikTok.
Established friendships don't require the same time investment as early friendships to keep up, but they do require some commitment. As life distracts you, it's easy to skip out on checking in when a friend goes through exciting or depressing times. And so many friendships fade for lack of attention, often by accident. Which is extra tragic because there is never only one person losing a friend, it's always at least two. Another thing that makes many people vulnerable is the way friendship networks are structured. The friendship paradox is the phenomenon that on average, most people have fewer friends than their friends. Which makes sense since you're more likely to be friends with someone who has many friends than with someone who has few. Rather than being densely interconnected, friend networks are often built around central hubs. So if central people
I don't know why I needed a second to think about the way it makes sense. The person who has more friends is more friendlier person, right? So you're more likely to become friends with that person than
disappear from your life, this can deprive you of many connections at once. And it can lead to a distorted self-perception that you are less popular than others, although you are perfectly average. It can get worse quickly with big life events. Maybe you move for school, work, or love and are left without social networks. Or you had a breakup that left you with the smaller part of the formerly shared social pie. The reasons why you find yourself with less connection than you want are as diverse as people, but the underlying cause is almost always time. There is no shortcut. To make new friends and retain friendships, you have to prioritize relationships, spend time with people in real life, and make them feel that you care. So take a look at yourself and rebalance what you spend your life doing. How to make new friends. Studies have shown that new friendships can develop quite quickly, weeks after you meet someone. But it takes a few months for a casual friendship to become a close relationship, with the biggest impediment being time invested and the quality of your interactions. To make friends, it helps if you intentionally look for people you have things in common with and who are open to new relationships. You want to make it easy for yourself, so examine what kind of person you are. Generally speaking, extroverts tend to crave sensory stimulation, spicier foods, loud music, or the excitement of engaging a crowd. Introverts, often confused with shy people, tend to be more sensitive to sensory stimulants and prefer quieter surroundings, fewer people, and even less spicy food. Different places attract different people. Not everybody can easily make friends at a bar or a football game. Not everybody finds a stroll through a park or a bookstore stimulating. Men especially form friendships around shared activities, but in general, it's a good idea to go to places that feel comfortable, where there are people.
So there are people who basically don't care about friends. Basically, they want to be left alone, right? they want to do their own thing, don't really care about social interaction, sure. But I think there are more people who just gave up on it because they thought that this is too hard to even think about, right? They went through the life basically, certain event happened, they left with close to not much friends, right? Then realize like it's too emotionally too hard to, I guess, even try. And eventually they just convince themselves like, I like to be loner, right? That's I've seen cases like that rise a lot, right? Especially like I said, in the days of social media and shit like that. But yeah,
People you might like who do things you find interesting. Look for local clubs or opportunities to volunteer. Check out what hobby stores are around and dust off your Space Marines, or see if there are new D&D groups in your city and ask if you could join one. Check meetup apps for gaming nights or wine tasting, join a sports club, or look for people who go hiking or want to cook together. Another obvious avenue is your professional life. It helps if you work in a job that attracts people like you, so you might consider this when you choose a career. Deepening your relationship with colleagues can lead to great friendships, especially if you look for peers and there is no power imbalance. And of course, there are friends you've lost touch with. You may be able to revive some of these relationships. In some cases, all it needs is a call or an invitation. Research shows that more often than not, the other person will appreciate that you've reached out. There are likely way more opportunities to spend time with others than you are aware of. And if there aren't, you can take the initiative and create them. Invitations are signals to start friendships. So bring people together by having a dinner party, organizing a football game after work, or starting a board game group. Everybody appreciates people who organize fun things, and the simple act of reaching out can kickstart a self-propelling upward spiral of well-being, fun, and connectedness that can seriously improve the life of everyone around you in meaningful ways. If you meet someone you vibe with, it's pretty scary to make the first move, but they may feel the same way. Equally interested in a friendship, but also blocked by fear of rejection. So it's worth going for it. Worst case, they're not interested, which will sting for a few hours, but the best case could be a lifelong friendship. A risk well worth the reward. Once you've formed early connections, check in whether they have important things happening in their life. Of course, it's important not to be
you'll find yourself doing activities and spending more time just naturally. And if you're not, that way you'll realize like, okay, there's not much going on here, right? But that's how friends are. Nobody goes out like, I'm going to make a friend. Nobody does that, right? It's usually the interest lines up. Like, if it's work, then it's work related. You just, talk work related things or whatever. If it's something like you say, like groups and shit, like if you own a super bike or something, right? You go to the super bike group or something. You meet up and things like that. You just do your activities and you just become friends like that eventually, right? But yeah, if you find yourself like you are trying to make an effort to just do activities and it's just not working, then it's not working.
overbearing, but the more time you invest, the more opportunity you have to engage in meaningful banter or silly jokes. The fact that friendships take time also means that you need to be patient and kind with yourself, especially if you're out of practice. Things will not improve overnight, but slowly, step by step, if you keep up. Open up, care and share. Many people don't have an issue being around others, but struggle to turn acquaintances into friends. So let's talk about two important principles that make it more likely that you'll connect: caring and sharing. In general, our favorite topic is ourselves and the things we care about, because we are literally at the center of our own universe. So people tend to like people who are genuinely interested in them. So if you want to make friends, your goal should be trying to learn what makes them tick. Just as important as caring about others is reciprocity and openness. To connect, you need to share the experiences that made you, you. Now, you don't want to overwhelm the other person and immediately spill out your deepest secrets, but open up a little and reveal personal things, because this also signals to others that it's okay to do the same. The best case is that you find shared experiences. Maybe you both had a hard time in school, maybe you share a passion for weird movies. Learning about others and sharing personal stories in a balanced way and not overdoing it is not an exact science. Noticing the line between opening up and oversharing requires practice and depends on the vibe of the conversation. One of the perplexities of life is that to get something, it can be helpful to convince yourself that you want it less than you do. In general, it's good to be late.
Yeah, the problem with that is the person who doesn't have much friends is actively trying to make friends will have that mentality like, I want to make friend. And I guess we'll overdo things usually, right? Overshare, overdo things like, I'm trying to socialize, I'm trying to, meet new people, I'm trying to make friends. If you don't emphasize like that, just, just socialize, right? You shouldn't go out thinking I'm going to make friends. It will have a natural, share things naturally if you feel like, not like, I'm going to make friends, I'm going to share things. That will definitely make friends. But no, that will lead to, I guess, oversharing and just nervousness and whatever.
Back, have fun, and enjoy yourself. Do things for yourself without expectations, but also be open to social opportunities and accept invitations if they show up. And that's basically it. Give friendships more priority in your life. Check in with friends and regularly go to things to have fun. Show genuine interest in others and give them the opportunity to know you without selling yourself too hard. If you do this, you're on track. If this sounds a bit scary, the good news is that human brains are hardwired to seek connection. It's perfectly normal to seek out new friends, and there are many people who would welcome more close relationships. There are friendships up for grabs everywhere, and there are plenty of people who will be so happy to have you in their life. As a good friend, go get to know them. For a short time, there's a free, community-organized, worldwide Kurzgesagt meetup. If you're over 18 and want to take
We'll go to original video page link in the description and support this channel, I guess. Meetup or whatever that is. But yeah. Alright. First of all, I think, the big problem here is that usually people, I'm grouping certain people here. There's a big spectrum of things, not just a certain particular thing. But I think that, people who don't have friends, there's a high chance that they are clinically depressed, right? Their way of thinking is just that way, right? So somebody just call, let's go to concert and this and that. I guess their first would be like, do I want to do that? Do I want to spend that much time? Do I want to go there? Right? Usually no is the answer constantly comes up, like 90% of the time, right? Should I do this? Should I do that? Maybe I should stay home and play PlayStation or whatever. See, that's the problem, like spending actual time socializing. That's going to be a hard thing for lots of people because their brain will constantly tell them, let's not do it, right? Like, why put this much effort? Like, that kind of thing. I don't want to go to a concert. I don't want to watch a football match, right? I don't want to do this. Let's just stay home, play PlayStation. The depression is the kind of the big issue there. And depression is so fucked up that once you go down that path, it's really hard to come out. Like, you really need to understand, like, you're in the depression path, where that path is hurting you, and you physically will basically have to counter that. Like, I'm saying no to things because I'm depressed and I should not do it unless you have that kind of knowledge about yourself. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to do things. So yeah, I like philosophical topics like this, right? I like psychoanalyzing things. I've said this in past. I've seen read many books on this. Watched lots of interesting videos like this. So yeah, this is kind of fucked up. But what is the best thing about all of this is that our mind is so vast, right? And it's tuned in certain way that I guess if you realize the problem you have, maybe it's depression or whatever, I guess you can figure things out. Right, that's the one thing I'll realize. But you have to understand what's going on. You're not, then it's going to be really hard. But yeah. Right, people, that was why you are lonely and how to make friends with the channel Kurzgesagt in a nutshell. If you like my Rickson, don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you next time.